There you go. Hey you guys, it's Mario.
Hi.
This is Brianna. She's from Ranger. She's the social media person there. Let me see if I can do better. Sorry. So she asked me for help because this is her first time, and I'm not like a pro because I only did 2 yesterday. So she's more nervous than I was yesterday. I'm trying to help, but I'm probably not much help.
You're
anyway,
helping me so much.
I'm going to give the phone back to her, and she's going to start out with Dina's table, and maybe show you some stuff with Dina, and then walk you around the booth, and just try to have a good time. And Brianna's going to do a great job. Hey, Brianna! Woo!
Thanks, Mario.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
I'm gonna go now and take you to Dina Wakely's demo station. So I'm going to flip the table around.
Dina Wakely!
Hi!
We call her Sprinkles.
You'll never know why, it's a secret.
So,
what are you showing us right now?
Okay, I'm showing you how I like to make prints off my craft sheet with my heavy body acrylic. So this only works if your paint's thick like mine. So I'm going to take a dry brush and the paint, can you see? I tend to be a little messy. I don't know if that's obvious or it's probably a big secret. I'm going to brush paint through the stencil onto my craft sheet, and then I'm going to lift. And then I'm going to take a tag or a card or whatever happens to be nearby me, maybe my kid's homework, and I'm going to, my dog, except I don't have a dog, I'm going to print off the craft sheet. And that will help you see every brush stroke, every little gritty detail, and it gives you an imperfect print. And it makes it kind of grungy and delicious. Now this I would never waste. So then this gets sprayed with water. This is a universal symbol for Find Dina her water bottle. Look, it's right here. Spray that with water, lay it down, print again, and then I've got the negative. So I've got the positive and the negative prints from the same look. So this was a different color from earlier today. This was white and night. And this one was Rainbow-licious. I'd used a bunch of colors for the stencil. Isn't that pretty? So, I mean, we don't need more than a background. I mean, you don't need to do every technique you know. That's it. Put a little bird, put a bird on it.
Night is the new black. You're spreading the word.
New black, exactly. That's my new night ink. So, I was showing these guys too. So, all these pads, you squeeze them, okay? Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Open. Now there's ink in the lid. Now you can take your paintbrush and think, oh, I want a bird to be ocean. And I can really quickly color him with just a little bit. Let's give him pink cheeks. Color your stamped images really fast. So, and then cut that out, stick it on your tag, and send it to your mother-in-law for her birthday.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Dina. We're gonna go travel now to the Make and Take station with Debbie. Say hi, Debbie. You're on Periscope.
Hi. Hi, Debbie.
Say
hi.
Hello. Everybody's making a really cool make and take using the distress crayons. Yep.
Can I make one? Sure.
And with a watercolor technique. Yeah.
And the new mica sprays.
And then with mica sprays, which are really awesome. All right, we're gonna travel around. We're gonna go see Lady Diane. We'll see what she's up to. Probably some sort of craziness.
Sorry, can you just...
Hello.
We forgot about the social media.
Say hi, Diane.
Oh, you're on Periscope.
Yep,
oh my goodness me.
You're live
hang
right
on a minute.
now.
Hang on a minute. Hello. Oh my gosh, sorry. Have I got lots of hearts?
It's coming up next.
I didn't even understand what Periscope was. How are we all? Look here, look at the queue. You've come at the right time when all the queue are here, wanting the signing things. Wave hello on Periscope.
Hello.
No, Live at yes, on Periscope. Live at CHA. There's aprons coming left, right, and centre. It's fabulous.
Oh, are you having an apron signing session?
Yes. I'm sure you want to see me doing some work, but I'm actually busy signing aprons. There we go. Oh, one more, and then I'll be able to talk to you. Woof. I tell you, it's mad. There we go. Thank you. No problem.
Where can I get the...
Oh, I don't know. Every now and again they give them out. I have no idea. I know I can't sign it, so I don't sign bottoms before 4 o'clock. Hello everybody, lovely to see you. Where are they from all over the world? Or
yes,
is it
hello
UK
from
or
New York, hello from Australia.
Oh, how wonderful! Look at my desk. Look at it. It's all got the things on.
This is Edgar. He attacked Tina
Yes, that's
earlier.
Edgar. He did. Oh. They might like to see the stab up there. They might like to have a look at that. You threw it from above and you can see the whole star.
It's a Starbucks.
This is Diane's Starbucks. Very cool. She's got tags in here. She's got her postcards in here. Her new coloring sheets.
Look how tidy I am as well. People are always...
I know, this is the neatest I've ever seen your demo table.
My demo table's always tidy. Look at my chocolate box full of my cutouts ready. I'm just adding some things. This is how I work. What I do is, I do lots of backgrounds. So you can see here, empty. So I do loads of backgrounds and then I'll sit and I'll cut out all these stamped images. So I stamp tons and then I sit and I cut them all out and then I just play. So here I've just added a flower either side on there, and I was just looking for some birds. I think I had one somewhere. So I just look and I see, oh, what would look good on there? So maybe that bird would look good. And is that? Oh, that's going the opposite way. Well, that might quite fit in. That might fit in, and then I might just pop that, lift that, and pop that onto there. So this is how I work. I just play around, and then I stick them down, and then I colour. So they're usually stuck and then I colour and then I doodle. So, you know, when you're watching television or whatever you're doing, if you're like me and you can't just do one thing at once, do this. Cut them all and then this is how I play. And it's much easier to work like this than it is to think, what am I going to put on it? And now I have to stamp it. Do you see what I mean? So that's what I do. And I cut them all out by hand. I don't have an arm. I don't have
you
stamp.
got the Vanna White thing going today.
Is that good?
That's some impeccable cutting.
Thank you. Yeah, I find it really comforting. But yeah, I've been practicing because it's been Periscope. I've been practicing with the Vanna Wave, you see, in my posh frock. So with my little pug, on there. No, I got him from Erstwilder. It's a company that makes them, but they're lovely. Look, they're all done. So, but the problem is, the reason it's on here, the problem is these. Oh my God, I bought loads, because I don't wear jewellery, I bought loads of pins. Well, they all go like that. You can't see them. So pins are only for more delicate women, yes. So, but this has been great. I've had it on there and it's been really lovely. So, yeah. So that's the type of thing I do. So you can see here, here's one. This is what I do. I stick them on and then later, usually in an airplane or in the hotel room, I'll colour them in with my inks in here. So I prep them all first. So all these samples that you see here will have looked like this. And then I just spend a whole afternoon colouring them in. I always do things step by step. Oh, come around here. Come around here. Good. Now, this person you're used to seeing on the other side. Well, hey, Mario.
Hey, Mario.
So, I don't know.
Doing good?
She's doing fabulously.
Not
Did all the hearts shoot up and up and up when Mario came on?
No, they're like, oh,
no,
put back
that's Mario.
No, they love
shooting.
you, Mario.
They love Mario. Come here. So this is what I just come on, back. This is my favourite hat. It's like a little pixie. It's just so sweet, isn't it?
You're like a little pixie, don't you?
And he's that good. He normally goes in English, but yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Sure.
Pixie.
I don't see the pixie.
Ben, is
but
the pixie
sure.
really good?
Sweet.
This is Diane's son, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, say hi. You're on Periscope.
Lovely little. You just want to snuggle
Keeps me
me.
warm.
Mario is a Periscope rock star.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're going to see Mr. Tim Holtz now. He's got a big crowd around him. Let me see if I can sneak in.
And you'll see because this blended sugar is going to dry,
Hit Tim.
what's happening is we're going in and we're
Brianna's doing her first
removing
Periscope.
some of this. Sorry?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Ranger Periscope?
Yep, first one
Ranger
ever.
is on Periscope. Say hi, everyone. Yes, awesome. You get that whole backstage behind the scenes
Yes.
look of this.
So I'm going to be creepily over your
Oh,
shoulder.
good. I like that. So here we've taken some blending solution on the foam, right over alcohol ink, right over UPO, and we were able to remove that alcohol ink using a stencil.
I like that.
Really, really cool because it lifts that. Remember, that UPO, that new UPO is now synthetic paper, and it gets even better. I'm telling you, it does. It's like all these opportunities. Because if you've worked with alcohol inks before, alcohol inks on glossy paper are great because you can create such beautiful backgrounds. But there are also techniques I like to do with alcohol ink that only have worked on pieces of plastic or tile or metal before. But because this is a synthetic paper, plastic, it's going to give me those same properties, like my stamp. Let me grab a stamp. Let's take this one. Maybe we'll take a flourish. A good block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stamp. Let me get a clean part of my cloth that I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to take archival ink. Now I'm going to use the new mixed media palette. I'm going to go in and ink this. Now on a larger stamp, I need to kind of turn my quadrant just to get some ink on there. And I'm just working with black soot just to make sure I've got some ink on my stamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and stamp. Let's stamp in this area right here. Stamp, get my image on there. Of course I can let this dry, but I can also go in with a cloth and completely remove it to create a resist.
Wow.
That's cool. Yes. And so it's completely smooth, all of that. Yeah. Now the archival, if I didn't wipe it off, it would have been permanent too. So it also gives me the ability that if I had an image, I could then stamp it and let it dry. Or dry with a heat tool, because this is heat stable. So alcohol inks on UPO, just really very cool. Totally different. You can use watercolor on UPO, you can use acrylic paints on that, because again, it's still a synthetic paper.
So it won't bounce on top of it like plastic.
Correct.
Get one on plastic.
Absolutely. So you can actually watercolor. Now your drying time, of course, is a little longer than it would be on something fully porous, but your watercolors are beautiful on that paper. Yeah, it's neat. It's a whole new surface. A lot of fun. Yeah. All right. I'm going to clean this up.
It looks kind of like plastic.
It's neat. Yeah. But, I mean, they refer to it as a synthetic paper, so I mean, kind of whatever that means. I just think it's cool. I think it has great abilities, especially the fact that we can use stencils and stamps with it. It's so ridiculous.
Yes, this is a preview of the back of the shirt.
Very cool.
Very distracting. That's why I don't
I don't buy that much anymore.
All right.
I buy certain things that
So how's
They
it
really
going?
liked your shirt, so I just gave them a preview.
Oh, thanks. It's made out of my fabrics. My friend Rochelle made it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yep. And the front. Cuffs.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
it's cool. I love it.
How do you keep your shirt white? They want to know.
You know, I was just saying that someone asked today, and I don't know. I really don't know.
Skill.
Yeah.
Big skill.
Yeah, I was going to say it's luck. I'm sure before the end of the day, like I'm going to flip a stamp on it or something.
Did I just jinx you?
Yeah. Well, just because I've been too careful the whole time. All right. So, any questions on what's new? So we'll start this all over again and show distressed crayons.
Okay.
That's good. Okay. Absolutely. Good job.
When you start over again, can you make us something?
I haven't really made anything, but
Raven turned something into like she's unsupervised.
and let me see if I've got like a decent piece of ephemera here. Not really. Oh, there we go. This is pretty decent. All right, we're gonna start with distress crayons. We'll do a little collage medium, color over the top of this. Use some of those pieces. It's this stuff on that stuff, which makes really cool stuff. There, I like that. That's what we use. Okay.
Yes. This is the one that does it.
So we're going to work with the new distress crayons, and we're going to talk briefly about the distress collage medium. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to add some ephemera onto a tag, and then we'll get into colors, and that should be dry. So it'll be a lot of multitasking. All right.
Tell me, mate, too.
No, you're totally fine. So we're going to work on a tag, and we're going to talk about the distress collage medium. So distress collage mediums, what's cool about these mediums is they are a water-based, waterproof medium. They're available in 3 types. You have matte, vintage, and crazing. I'll show you. Matte, vintage, and crazing. That little crackle. And I'll pass that on so you guys can see it. So what's cool about crazing is it's not a true textured crackle. It's actually smooth, but it creates a very cool effect. And you can use it to glue down ephemera of all types. Now these are available in 4-ounce jars, and we also have a sampler set where you get 1 of each jar in a single pack. So this allows you to kind of test it out, have your customers test it as well. I'm just going to go in with, well, I might as well go with some crazing. Let's do that. When I use the medium, I like to apply it with the collage medium brush. And we did these brushes in 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. And what's cool about this particular brush is it's a very short, kind of stubby brush, and it's perfect for adhesives, not only to apply adhesives, but to also remove some, kind of spread them out. So when I go to use this, I'm just going to dip it right in there, just going to spread it on there. This brush is designed to fit right in your hand, just like that. That's why it's angled. And I'm going to put this on. Now what's unique about this is if I get too much medium on my tag, I can stand my brush up and literally scrape all of it off because the inside of the brush is hollow. It'll scoop all of that up. So if you haven't felt the brush, pass it around, kind of flick it on your hands. It's very springy, very bouncy. I like to let people know that when we work with this medium, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to press it down just to get out any air bubbles. A cloth, paper towel. This has a drying time of now. You put it on, dry, move on, okay? So I love the ability to add this medium. I don't have to worry about my other layers slipping and sliding. Again, always kind of push out the air bubbles, and you're done, ready to go. So now I'm just going to go over the top of this with the layer of the crazing medium. Now, when I apply crazing, I like to be a little bit more heavy-handed around certain areas because not the same way I do crackle paint, but if I kind of lightly glide it, see how it looks a little wetter? It's really hard to describe. It's just wetter. If it has a little heavier layer of the medium, you're just going to get more crazing going on. It doesn't make the size of the crazing any bigger. It's not like crackle paint where it's bigger cracks and all that. It just means you have a little bit more crazing going on. Another great tip when you're using collage medium or paint, take a baby wipe and wrap it around your brush, and then you don't have to clean your brush. I've yet to clean this brush since 7 a.m. It just sits in that baby wipe. This way when I go to use it, it's already wet, ready to go. Yeah. So this way, at the end of the day, when you're done playing or whatever, then you can go clean all your brushes. But to have it sit in water and take it out, and to me, it's just too much. I'm going to let this dry while I talk a little bit about distress crayons. But if you were in a hurry, you were working on a project, you could dry this with a heat tool, and it will craze. So you don't have to wait for it the same way you do crackle paint. You can just, they're all heat-stable mediums. So now I'm going to go in and just talk about some of the properties of these new crayons. Now, distress crayons, they are sold in 3 packs. There's 18 colors. These belong kind of in that vintage set 3. And what these are, this is a water-reactive pigment. So a lot of people are like, are they like, or are they like, they're like neither. They have properties because it's water-reactive pigment, but they do different things. So when I work with these colors, they're a lot of fun because I can take a surface, take watercolor paper for example. They have a very buttery, almost like a lipstick, so you can turn the bottom, and that's going to extend more of this pigment stick, and it just glides across the paper. You're welcome to point up and glide it across. And I've got paper, I've got tags. Just don't glide it across my canvas, please. When I use this, I want to show you some of the coloring features of this. Kind of buttery, huh? Yeah, really creamy texture to it. All right, let me grab my water brush. Usually when it comes to watercolor, especially with markers, we kind of get in the habit of less is more, right? You put less of the marker on the surface because you want to pull out some of that color. When you work with these crayons, if you have a little bit of crayon, you don't get nearly as much play as you do when you have more pigment on the surface. So this is totally opposite. The more pigment you have, the more play you're going to have to blend that out, okay? If you want to mix colors or combine colors, you can take your colors and do just that. I can pick some colors. Maybe I want to mix a little bit of that color. Maybe I want to take mustard seed, and I can go right into another one and not contaminate the crayon, okay? But what's neat about this is that I can take each color, I can blend it out individually, right? Or I can combine colors to make new colors, okay? So they'll be able to blend and mix while they're wet just to create whatever blend of color that you want. I can always make brown, don't even judge. You can give me the brightest color and be like, well, those are bright. I can always make brown, always. So I love the ability to kind of watercolor with these as well, but it gets better. These have some really interesting properties on different surfaces, so I want to talk about that and then we'll finish up with the crazy one. Here I've taken a tag and gone in and applied some ephemera and applied some collage medium over the top of it, okay? Now this already has crayon over the top, okay? We've done some crayons to do some of the smudging, and you can see that when I'm touching this, it has not been sealed, it does not smudge, it does not do anything. But maybe I don't want it there. It's a water-reactive pigment. So if you wet it, you'll be able to remove it from your surface, but you don't have to worry about it coming off to touch, okay? So unless someone's gonna go over your project with a baby wipe, you don't have to worry about it. If you did, we have distressed microglaze, which could make these completely waterproof. But you have to remember the properties of this. It's water-reactive pigment, okay? So because it's water-reactive, I'm going to show you what it looks like on a stick surface, but let's just take something basic, because it's very hard when you're introducing a new medium. People kind of have this impression in their heads of how it's going to work and perform, and well, this is different. So we're used to the fact, like with distress, that when we have a distress product on the paper, because it's reactive with water, what happens when we add water to it? It's going to wait. Nothing happens to this, okay? It's a water-reactive medium, but nothing happens to it unless you move it. If you move it, that's how you're going to get it to react. So if you're doing mixed media, it's a very stable medium to work with, because if you accidentally get it wet with additional water or mica spray, you don't have to worry about it going fugitive. You'll be able to pull and control that, all right? So on something that is coated, the coated paper is going to allow for a lot more play. Here I can go in with colors. Maybe I want to add like a vintage outline. Just going in with my crayons around the edge and just using my fingers, I can start smudging that medium out. It's going to give me a really great opportunity to add a drop shadow around those ephemera pieces. Or if I want to add a highlight, I love the fact that we have picket fence. Picket fence is going to allow me to just go in, create that really cool kind of white oxidation around something, or go in with my colors. That's what I'll do down here. Just going to add some different colors, and I'll end up blending these out.
And Tim, you said coated a moment ago. Is that because you did a layer of
this has collage medium.
Okay.
So this has just the regular matte collage medium. The one that's drying is crazy. Okay. So here I'm just going to go in, just use my fingers. I'm going to switch my smudge tools if I don't want to mix my colors. Okay. But you can still mix them. Just want to kind of create a cool background. If you want to add additional colors, remember they're pigments, so you can always add a color over a color, regardless of whether you're adding a yellow over a blue over a whatever. Okay, so now we have some color on there. I need to add a little more brown, just for my own sanity. I just need it. I see that and it's like, that's way too diluted. Okay. I know, she likes that set. So what's neat about the fact that we have a coated surface is that even though, and you saw before that those were dry, you saw kind of that design through it. And what I use for that is a stencil. We all seem to have a wonderful fascination for stencils, including me. I love stencils. And so they have the ability to create some cool patterns. So let's find, I think I want to find lattice work. Every time I'm looking for it, I can't find it. But every time I'm not looking for it, there it is. Okay, let's use this one. This one's new. This is cool. This is kind of a geo box. What's nice about this is I can lay a stencil down. I can take any baby wipe or any damp surface and I can go over my crayons just to lift that color. Okay? That's pretty cool. I can go in with numbers, detail. This is typo, that's cheating. Let's take some numbers, for example. And I can just wipe through this. And this doesn't matter when you do it. It's always going to react with that medium and give you such a cool outline. Yeah. So it's a real great way that we can kind of layer that mixed media aspect. But it gets better. One thing that's probably the most important when it comes to introducing a new product into the world of distress is how it plays well with the star of the show. Okay? Has to work with distressing. Whether I've introduced stains, spray stains, markers, paint, it always ties back to the ink, and that's what's important. And that holds true with the crayons as well. So here I've added those crayons. You saw we blended them out, we mixed those colors. This is dry, so it's not going to smudge when I touch it. It's not an oil pastel, but this is going to allow me to go in, take my ink blending tool, pick up colors. Maybe we'll go with gathered twigs this time. And I'm going to take an ink and go right over these crayons. I can use a blending tool. I can use spray stain. The reason I'm using a blending tool is to show you that they don't smudge, right? Because you would expect them to smudge, but that's what an oil pastel does. These do not, because they're not oil-based. But what's also really cool is we expect it to be water reactive. So I love that I get this great kind of vintage look over the crayons, but if I want to bring my color back, I can still spray this and all of my ink is going to be repelled. Even where I watercolored, it's going to bring up the water. But why isn't this moving? You saw it on the paper. In order to get this to move, I would have to push it out of the way. So it's really great that I can go in and watercolor with the crayons, blend around it, spray with water, see that watercolor come to the surface, but it creates a really great kind of outline effect. Because you're like, well, why wouldn't you color over the top of it? Well, because you're going to get that resist effect with the crayons as well. And because of that feature, these are not designed to color on a stamp, spray a stamp and stamp with them. You can't stamp with them. You put them on a stamp and spray them with water, they're just going to sit there. And when you touch the stamp and lift it, they're still going to sit there. You'd have to take the stamp and like drag it across your paper to get those pigments to move, which, well, we're not going to do that. So that's one of the things people are like, oh, you color and spray and stamp. No, these are different. This is designed that you want to create these backgrounds you can. And drying these, it takes probably maybe 5-10 minutes depending on how many layers to get it really dry to where it's not tacky. This still feels a little tacky, but you can dry it with a heat tool because, again, they're heat stable. So let's go back to this craze one and finish this one out. It's so good. All right. Let me wipe this up. Oh, and I'll show you one other thing with the crayons on metal. All right, see how well I can multitask. Drying, drying, drying. All right, as I'm drying this, we need to find a quote band. There we go. So anytime you have an embellishment that is metal, whether it's going to be a new quote band, a word band, type token, anything that's going to have something that is debossed, you do have the ability to go in and add color using the distress crayons. So, I can't multitask, I need two hands. I can take my distress crayon and go right over this and immediately fill in everything. And unlike acrylic paint where you have to wait for the right consistency, the right time for it to dry, whatever that is, you don't have to with this, it's already done. But you also have the ability to go in and change colors in a word. Yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And that's it. Finished. Finished, finished. And you could go right over this and totally change the color. And this is done. It's dry. pretty cool. I love that feature on metal. Yeah. So it's a really, and so it's a great way to like, even like your foil tape, you can go in with the black soot, go around it, smudge it. So our designer challenge back there, if you haven't had a chance to see our designer challenge, so amazing. You know, this year we made it really difficult on the participating designers because we sent them one of Dina's new media boards and a pack of distress crayons. That's it. And we gave them some tags, but we gave them zero direction. Didn't tell them what they do, what they worked on, how they work. We just said, here you go, see what happens. And I think that was really challenging because in the past we've done a designer challenge on a product that we've had for a while. Maybe it was a new color or whatever. But this, they're like, what do I do with these? Whatever you want. And so to see how some people use them for fine art, you know, to draw with or sketch with, like Dina and Debbie. You know, Amy Tan took a scrapbooker approach of like coloring it and like spraying it with a can of air. We've had people that did, you know, I did a very dark and grungy assemblage piece, but I colored them on. The vignette boxes, the metal, the papers, ridiculously cool. All right. So this guy, let's see if it's dry. Yep. Just touch it. It's not wet, it's dry. And this thing has craze. It's got little crazing. And the thing to know about crazing is not crackle. Crazing is very random, very sporadic, very fine little elements. And so I want to go in with my color and apply whatever colors you want, however you want to apply them. Of course, we need to introduce brown. Don't judge me. And we're just going to start working this color around. Now, you can see for this demo piece, I was kind of going really kind of sloppy with the brush. I love that that accent. You can see the crazing. You really have to see it close up to start to show up. There are fine little cracks that show up. That's the thing about crazing. It's really much easier under the light. It's tiny little cracks that show up. So not big crackle. So if you're expecting a crackle medium, that's not what this is. This is crazing. Now, if I want to get something off, I just wipe that off, right? Water reactive, so I can always remove stuff. So you don't have to worry about freaking out that you're going to add too much or not enough of something. You just add some colors. I love the ability to work with these. They're so much fun. They're super cool. Just a different medium. You know, that's the thing. If you're used to working with distress inks or paints, does it replace any of them? No way. It's just something different and fun and new that we can use in conjunction with our inks and our sprays. And I mean, that resist effect is crazy. It's so cool to me because it's really over that watercolor. And you can always go back and add more. And I'm going to add, what's that? No, not once it dries. That's kind of one of the things. It's not really a waxy stick. It's a water reactive pigment. So it's not oil-based, it's not wax-like. It's just its own thing. It needed to be. And it's been really great. I mean, it's really well received here at the show because, you know, I think when people saw the announcement and heard it, they were like, wah, 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 you know, like, I already have them, okay. And then I think when they saw them and saw, you know, what these properties were and what made them different, it was like, oh, okay, I kind of do want that. I will use that. So here, just add some brown accents, and then I want to add a little highlight. So let's go in and remove a little bit of that from Butterfly, my favorite, Picket Fence, because I love just to add those little accents because I can still smudge some of that out, but it just creates that instant highlight on things. Kind of gives it that little oxidized look. Pretty cool. And then we will take a stencil. Have fun with this. All right. Let's get rid of this. I really don't need this. All right. So I'm going to place this down now. I think I want this to dry a little bit. So the fact that I can heat this to dry and I don't have to worry about my colors kind of melting the way a wax would, pretty cool. Thank you. What's that?
This is my favorite thing that you're showing us.
It's just cool and different and fun, and I'm wringing out the baby wipe because I don't know if you did that.
your dirty baby wipes.
Yeah. So you don't want like a soaking towel. You just need some moisture. Yeah. So here I'm just going to go in. Let's remove some of that color. Excellent. So good. So good.
I love reductive effects. It's very different than using natural effects.
Yeah. It's fun. I think a lot of us are looking for new and creative and different ways that we can work with a lot of different mediums. And this to me is one of those.
I know, me too.
And we'll add a few little stars. Plus I love these new little mini stencils. Not gonna lie. As much as I love the large layering stencils, these guys are really cool. So, just like that, simple mixed media piece with distress crayons. We can splatter on them. I mean, we could take this so much further, splatter paint and do all that, but it's just a really great accent for that. And I use this even for edging in the CHA class. We didn't even have an ink pad because I just used this just for anything that we would normally work with an ink pad, just to prove that if this is what you had, you can make it work. Is it exactly the same? No. Does it give you the same effect? No, but do you have the ability to still create a distress effect with it? Absolutely. So those are the distress crayons. Yes. Correct. Yeah, and once you start working with pigments, it just becomes different. You know, I think I'm so used to working with distress and so trained as to what you should and shouldn't do. You know, because it's like, oh, this is ink. If you put this color on this color, you're going to end up with mud. Well, not so much with these. These have really allowed some kind of creative freedom on there.
Put it on your rib. Does it stay pliable?
Completely pliable. Yeah, it's really soft. You're very welcome, guys. Sure.
I'm gonna go.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for watching.
Okay, we're gonna quickly stop over to the ice resin booth, which is really cool. I don't know if you guys know a lot about this product, but it's mostly a jewelry making product, but you can really, there's a lot of crossover into mixed media, so I'm gonna actually give you a small tour of the booth. So these are all the really cool necklaces that Susan Leonard Kasner has made. Some really cool stuff. Love the antique doors in the booth. This is actually Alan's doing. He put this whole booth together. It looks really nice. This is actually ice resin on alcohol ink on ceramic tile, which I know a lot of you have been asking about, or an alcohol ink sealer. The German glass glitter in the inclusions. Also has the tints, foil sheets, molding putty. You can make casts out of the molds, like these locks right here. These are both made out of, everything here is made out of ice resin and that are cast with ice enamels. These things are really, really light. They look really heavy, but they're really light. Here's some of the tints in the opals shown. Looks really cool. It's a really cool product. Right. Some more really cool necklaces from Susan. Susan, say hi. We're live on Periscope.
Hi! How are you? Ice, ice, baby. That's all I got to say.
This is Susan's demo table, which is actually made of ice resin. Alan himself put this together. It's really cool.
Very, very cool.
The biggest ice
It's a
resin
big bezel, a really big bezel, yeah. Cool. Nice, and here I have a couple. I was showing these pieces all day. You caught us at the end of the day, so we're all like, woo. But this is some of the new stuff. This is the foils with ice resin. Ta-da! And here's some of the paper ice resin. It's resin paper, And I kind of create little talisman out of this. There's little notes and messages written on here, and then I bind it up into like a little talisman, and I carry it with me. So it has like a lot of my wishes, and this will give me strength today. Today I had a long day, demoed all day, so this gave me my strength. I just wear my talisman, so that's kind of cool.
Yes, the table is full of lots of goodies, as you can see. She's been demoing all day, so there's lots of fun stuff on here.
And you can just really play with these. You can also use these. There was one week.
All right, I'm going to go
to use
over
the
to
powder.
Good.
I'm going to show you guys for the challenge this year, the designers had to use the new distressed crayons. Also on Dana Wakely's media board, which is really awesome. So I'm going to show you all of the designer challenge, and when I get back home, I'm actually going to do a blog post about it. So keep posted on that. So you could really see how each designer used the crayons in so many different ways. You could use them in a watercoloring style. This is Jen McGuire. Looks so much what Jen McGuire would do. Very organized, very a lot of little pieces there. Love all of the vintage techniques. So the white picket head highlights. It's so fun to see how all the designers really take, you know, all of the same mediums and apply it in such cool different ways. It's Wendy's, and this is Tim's actually. It looks great. You could see all of the use of the brown, his favorite.
Yeah. Did you see the press release on them? No. We have like what we sent them.
Yes, Mario is around.
I hope your son is good.
I'm not sure where. I did hear him too.
When are you going back?
This is our own designer, Debbie. She works in the art department, and she loves to draw, so she really uses these in like a pastel type of way. This is Diane.
And I'm not familiar with that artist. She is
Bobby Smith. This one's really cool. I love the night sky. Tim was telling me that she did the whole background with distressed crayons and then used black distressing over it to really create that cool night sky picture. It's really nice. Thank you very much. This is Anita. And I'm gonna, when I get back to the office, I'm gonna have pictures of all of these and everybody's name included, so you could really take a closer look at all of these. But they're just so much fun to look at. So it's such a great medium and such a cool surface. And this one, of course, is Dina's. Can you tell?
Yeah, I'll walk around with it for a bit, and if I don't, then I'll turn it in.
Alright, I think that's it for the booth tour today. Thank you so much for being patient with me. This is my first Periscope, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I look forward to doing more of these. Alright, bye!